We're in the very safe national seat of Parkes. The coalition's really not concerned about its prospects here, but there is red-hot anger in parts of this enormous electorate about water management and about the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, and it was that anger which saw some state seats in this area fall to the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party in the New South Wales election in March. So that is weighing heavily on the minds of the coalition. But the Prime Minister's here today with the Nationals leader Michael McCormack and the local member Mark Coulson to announce some drought funding. The centrepiece is a $36 million plan for concessional loans of up to $200,000 for farmers to help them restock and replant after a drought. There's also some more community-based funding, $20 million for regional agriculture shows and some drought assistance funding for local communities and small businesses.
We're drought and standing by our farmers and our graziers and pastoralists, wherever they may be in the country, has been a key priority for the government that I lead. That, of course, led to the National Drought Summit that we had last year, the initiatives that we put in place, whether it's the Drought Communities Program, the Drought Fund that we sought to take through the Parliament, and sadly was not supported by the Labor Party when we did that, a fund that would go to $5 billion, drawing down $100 million once it's established to be investing in important water infrastructure. But the reason we stand by our farmers and our pastoralists and our graziers is what we're standing here today is part of the Australian way of life. And it's as true here just outside of Dubbo as it is just outside of Julia Creek or Cloncurry or down in the Gippsland or wherever you happen to be in the country. It's part of our way of life. You know what? It's a very important part of our economy.
This is the first time we've seen national security or a debate about national security erupt during this election campaign. The Prime Minister is demanding Labor help pass the latest round of foreign fighter laws if the coalition wins the next election or wins the election in May. Now, these laws are really controversial. They would basically allow the government to ban a foreign fighter from returning to Australia if they can't strip them of their dual citizenship. These proposals have been widely panned, particularly by legal experts who question whether they're even constitutional, and they caused a split in a ordinarily or normally bipartisan parliamentary committee. Well, Scott Morrison raised this issue yesterday in the context of the Sri Lanka bombings. It caused a very strong reaction from Labor leader Bill Shorten, who said an election campaign is no time or no place really to be debating these issues. And, to be fair to Labor is almost always in lockstep with the coalition when it comes to national security. But clearly this is an issue that Scott Morrison, wants to sort of draw a wedge on or wedge Labor on, and he wants to make this an issue to fight this election.